This was a conference by the Mafia Fellowship. It was held over the weekend. It was massively attended because the hotel was, they thought was insulated against the Mirundi spy network. But there are three issues that feature prominently. One, the man, it was addressed by their patron, the real man in charge, because they have the chairman. This is the real man.
The mafia has a patron.
Yes.
Bali chairman yewo kuntiko.
Into three formidable groups. The masters, commanders, who are never seen. They usually communicate on Zooms.
And I know we have a number of challenges, but the worst thing is how some of you tend to misbehave. It is a very unfortunate thing, and most of the times when I come around, I mean it, and I need answers to so many questions that you always leave unanswered. Normally, no, please just allow me to talk after making my submission. Then you can come in and say something. Okay? Now, I want to be well understood. When I sent you out, you knew exactly what you were supposed to do. And clearly you all knew what you were supposed to do. In the latest meeting I held with you on Zoom, I told you we were supposed to take maximum care of each and everything that was supposed to happen in the auspice of arranging and organizing the work plan through the elections. Little did you give me responses, and above all else, responses that were constructive to the cause. You left a very wide gap between what is supposed to be done and the receipt you needed to prepare to have things done. When I asked for a contingent plan, you had none. Normally, there are several things that we do, and we tend to ignore. Some of the times we hope that things are going to work themselves out. And that is not the way things work. So now if I may ask one thing, there are a set of ministers whose bidding reigns to have them in those positions. That is one. We have heads of institutions, executive directors, commissioners, and commissioner generals. Executive directors and chairmen. What came thereafter? Something that cannot be explained? You may say, why I'm beating around the bush. The whole reason is what you know best. Mr. Chairman, Andreas, Herbert, Andrew, Patrick, you've always been telling me There's a lot of digital espionage going on. Whenever we meet, they take a grasp of clips of our of whatever we say, and it is handed over to His Excellency. Yes. Why don't you demand for privacy? You need privacy. Why should this man go on at all times and you just keep quiet? He's very busy, proving to be above the ordinary. That is extraordinary. He runs a paranormal project that cannot be handled by anyone apart from himself. So when you look at such things, do you ever sit down and think? Like any gentleman, you have to, at one moment in time, sit in a silent room alone and think and meditate. How often do you do that? For so much times, we end up getting a lot of mishaps and hiccups, bottlenecks and shortfalls, but we overcome each and every obstacle that comes our way. I managed to get for you these voice transcoders. So you dress it up and tune your voice. You can regulate your frequency. If the problem has always been getting your frequency, you can adjust your accent a little bit. And at least there is no way you're going to tell me that you shall not communicate just because your voices are being sold to His Excellency. Now who's going to notice mine? Who's gonna say it's you saying so and so? You're a male, you can talk like a female. You're a female, you can talk like a male. So this should be a new beginning. Because you cannot counter such sophisticated projects by just playing the cat and mouse games. Let it be lion against antelopes. There is no game. One must feed on the other, and the other has a right too. So if that is the way we are supposed to be making things happen, then we are bound to succeed. I'm going to be very specific with this weak woman. This weak woman has given directives. Unfortunately, she was receiving directives. One was coming from the Speaker of Parliament and the colleagues from the eastern side. And we specifically gave the orders because we had the audacity, we had the capacity, we had the ability to stand up to influence the loan from the World Bank to ensure that the electricity regulatory authority receives all the money. But because there's a stumbling block that side, we thought it's another option. And that option was to use women as well. So in that process, we went to, excuse me, it is okay. So in that process, it happened that one gentleman standing in rear became a stumbling block that failed each and every obstacle. And we have called that lady right here, and she has rejected to come. She said one of the junior staff cooperates directly with Tamare Mirundi and has been intimating to some of the staff members that some information is shared to him. And so he has so many agents in SFC, ISO, and some politicians in parliament with whom they work. So in that aspect, I'm demanding you have to sit together and you make sure this is the last time she is minister. You have to make sure it is the last time she is minister. And if possible, the fellowship should have their own candidate who should fail her aspiration as a member of parliament. And that should be done eminently. Any funding that may be needed is going to be provided. Any funds that are going to be needed are going to be provided. So shall we begin? That is point number one I wanted to talk about. Point number two, the chairman of the fellowship, I wanted to give a detailed explanation. Why we have failed on a number of projects, and why is Andrew Mwenda's behavior a total twist from the tenets of the fellowship? Is he still a member or should he permanently be ejected? I need to know that as soon as possible before I leave, because I need to share that same information with my comrades to have a final say, a final position, and a proper way forward. Finally, Professor, there are several things you've been handling, and we are very, very glad for your contribution. And indeed, your contribution has been very, very excellent. We need to have a ground-breaking plan that you have put in place to ensure we have initiates, because when you see the political climate, the atmosphere, and the platform on which the politics is being done or played, there is a lot of wantings that need to be fixed as soon as possible before we let in another unprecedented misfortunes. So we need to know the position of the initiates whom I recommended to you as well. A list of candidates we must have to support. We need it very, very urgently. So that is just one of the things I need us to put central focus on, so we get the productivity of our primary objectives. And we need results produced that can benefit and fuel the advancement of our agenda, politically, economically, spiritually, and socially.
Thank you very much.
Shall we begin, Mister? What did you just say?
I'm very sorry, sir. There are several things that have been happening, and I'm blessed to be the person at the central projection of things. And I first of all have to appreciate the trust you have always put in me, the appreciations you have expressed for all the times I've been handling the project work and the fellowship objectives. Amidst the several challenges, and currently we are deeply faced with very strict challenges. First and foremost, you are all aware that there were several incidents, and bad incidents where we have always been recorded, and we found our voices on the social media. And clearly that a lot of this has been submitted to His Excellency. And I'm also sorry for the behaviors of some members like Andrew. And as well, I'll appreciate the support you have given me to see myself through, especially at a moment when I was rendered jobless for close to more than 16 months. Anyhow, I'm blessed also to take on this. The central issue, as we speak now, with the pay of the Honorable Minister, who had been summoned, but he did not reveal to all of us that he was not around. She had gone to her constituency, and there was no way she could leave. Unfortunately, she lied to me because she didn't know whom she was supposed to meet. So she only told me the truth after we had gathered here. And I told her, I mentioned to her the names of the people whom she was supposed to address. But she sent her apology and requested it to appear probably after the cabinet meeting tomorrow, or probably on a Tuesday. But she's also likely to have a rare board meeting on Tuesday. So she had the view that it could be Tuesday in the evening or immediately after the cabinet meeting on Monday. So that is the information I got from her. And she really apologized that when His Excellency called, complaining and explaining all the information he had received about her projections, she got scared by the way she was grilled, plus the internal memos that related to His Excellency, plus the corridor rumors that were happening at her ministry and at the respective agencies and authorities. She regretted to have revealed the people she had talked to and the people who had advised her to work with women rather than Rhea, and also to have a full mention and how she's fighting with Ruto Ama, who helped to fight two thieves who had turned Rhea into a private money meeting estate. So she said the approach His Excellency used really scared her, but she involuntarily had to tell without editing or amending her submissions. At the end of the day, she was drained and submitted the full truth of whatever happened, including the way she used to get instructed, the persons who instructed, and she was told to put in writing exactly what she told His Excellency. And she was cautioned that the phone call was recorded. His Excellency was recorded, so His Excellency expects a writing that directly coordinates with the telephone submission. So that is where her troubles began, and she felt she had betrayed the entire setup, except you, especially you, the top leaders of the fellowship. In that line, she further said that yes, actually, she said what really put her down was that a battle with that gentleman called Ruto Ama had been appreciated by His Excellency. And for that reason, His Excellency was pinning her to be reviving the same method of work which Turiajen and Weriki were running. So it was the conclusive statement that broke her down was so you are refueling and re-energizing the corruption machine that Weriki and Turiajen that we are running, so you can resurrect it and put it to your own benefit. So he had to apologize 1,000 times to His Excellency. And she actually said she was misled. And she made mention of my name personally. And the people, including 2 members of the first family. So that is where the entire problem came. So she received the directives from His Excellency to let Dr. Wama Charles' work plan be implemented with immediate effect, or she should leave office immediately. So she remained trapped between a rock and a hard place. And the last nail in her coffin was that if you proceed with this kind of battle, I'm going to make sure you even don't come to Parliament in this forthcoming election. So he had to surrender, and he made a submission for almost 15 minutes. And that watered down each and every effort the fellowship had put in a place to target the $400 million, which is on the way. That is about 1.25 trillion Uganda shillings, which were supposed to be released as soon as possible to implement projects between now and December. It really would be a reasonable amount of money to benefit from. So without adding any salt, sugar or pepper, I'm going to leave it at that for now, because I know there are some submissions that Professor may wish to say later. Now, the second issue, Honorable, that I'm supposed to talk about comes to Andrew Mwenda. I had a view that I have a thought, and that at least Andrew has had some time with the first son, and they have really talked in details. And for the last time I met him, I think even the professor came around. He reassured us that he took his own path because of the frustrations he got from here. And the mischief of, he says, honorable, and the way he was mistreated by His Excellency. So, somehow, so he chose that path. But he later said, he gave me a call yesterday and said, you see, he gave that full explanation to the first son, and things are moving on well. So he says he might have to bridge the gap between people power and the young NRM activists to work amicably without getting to opposite extremes. That as we get to the extreme, the NRM gets to the extreme right, then the people power go to the extreme left. So he says he's going to bridge the gap between that, and he says his position in Nu is supposed to bridge the gap and avoid the future radicalism, because nobody is tall enough to see what the future holds for Uganda. So in the case of the good happening, that is well. But in the case of a worst case scenario, that at least these current projections and activities can really avoid the violence. So his submission looks like that. But possibly Professor has a better recollection of each and every incident that happened around, because he personally interfered and he tried to psychologically mental anger. So whatever goes wrong about that, the professor has a better antidote to any toxins that may be seen in him. So now finally, I would like to say that there are several things that have been happening that needed your input. The fellowship has got several challenges, and the primary challenge has always been Tamaremi, who has been fighting it, who has been spying on it, who has been supplying a lot of information to His Excellency regarding the activities of the fellowship. And in this case, we got several knockouts at several stages, but sometimes we have to create for a handhold to see that the fellowship survives. Nearly all of you here had abandoned it, and it was really a very big problem, challenge we faced, and it required a lot of effort plus some money to rise to this. We thank Honorable for your support to have the Zoom technology moving. Much as most times the timing has been not fair, and attendance sometimes has not been good. Sometimes I've been missing out on very important people we needed to deal with, and at the end of the day we lost it. Then we had several technical breakdowns, which also required a lot of money, and the Honorable you always supported to repair and reinstate it. We are also very glad. Such a meeting is a rare occurrence. I thank everybody who has sacrificed their time to come and brave the fact that there is a lot of espionage. I think now physical meetings always provide more solutions because the chemistry mixes better in the physical presence. And I would also request that now that you managed to get those voice alternators, that possibly you supply to most of the members, because as the planning team, we have to meet a lot. We have to call each other so much because we are the pivot of all the activities. If you could also provide the same to the daily planning committee, I think it would be very good. Otherwise, so much of our voices are on social media saturated. Professor will also tell you what he has so far seen and witnessed at His Excellency's suit. There is a cluster of CDs containing recordings of our planning meetings, which have to happen every day at all costs, because every day is a planning day. Because our role is to plan, then there are those who are meant to implement every day. So, planning should be removed with implementation, and we are not the implementers but the planners. The power that be honorable authority plus your comrade, you always send directives that render us into planning, and our planning renders activities outside the fellowship. So that is the way we operate, and I thank you for the daily financial support you provide to see that the planning process never fails. But in that respect, and for the sake of secrecy and the cost of survival, may we also get those voice alternators and transcoders to ensure that we evade identification during the digital espionage, the era in which we are, the information age era. So, I thank you very much, and I would like to welcome the professor. Thank you for the respect and the audience you have given to me.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very sorry I have some cough and some flu, but I'm not scaring you to tell you that I have coronavirus. No, I do not. I've even so far tested 3 times since I got the infection, and I'm very safe. As one of the elders and one of the people who have served this regime from 1981, appearing in different guises, I think we are bound to do a lot of things, and we have done a lot of things, and I'm saying we are not going to lose a grip at any one moment. We are still very powerful and strong, and who gives us the strength are the gentlemen and the ladies on this side. I'm very thankful, and allow me to say thank you very much. I appreciate on behalf of the entire fellowship. You have made us stand, and you have really protected us. A meeting like this means a lot, and like how Chairman has said it is a direct deliberation that you all need to understand. It is very unfortunate that we had to risk and go through fire and brimstone to keep the fellowship moving. Some of the people were calling us and saying that we are stupid, we are idiots, we are getting recorded by Tamaremirund at all times, and we keep moving on. So you preferred resent into abeyance, something that had no meaning, if I may say. Take a look at the situation. Look at the storm, especially during the lockdown that ensued. How much money has the fellowship made through this pandemic? If it wasn't for the sake of those daily meetings, those were not just meetings, they were efforts. We are putting up efforts, we risked. You are just putting us under pressure, not knowing the cost. But the cost was really so much. And we had to struggle to get to where we are. Without that, there would be no job. Hapana kazi. But we had to struggle. Excuse me. So in that aspect, with due respect, I thank my senior, Honorable. You have stood by our side. We went through the storms of politics. I got a lot of pressure from people like Mao, people like Abed Wanika. We got a lot of pressure from them. I had to go out and fight on my own and let them be. So people like Abed disappeared, took off. The Joseph Simayanja, they've been up and down. But thank you, Project Kapeka. A lot has been done. The most important thing at this time is to manage the politics, both opposition and the NRM. Sometimes you have to support your enemy to keep your position. I hope you understand my submission in that line. So now, let me get to the point. I want to be very precise to the point. I thought Margaret would be here, but she had not revealed the full truth about what was happening until His Excellency called her. That she got scared and contacted me. She even told me she was not anywhere around Kampala but at the constituency. But we had already convened this meeting, especially for the occupants of this side who wanted to meet her one-on-one. Anyhow, she has promised to be here after cabinet tomorrow or 24 hours later from tomorrow. That will be Tuesday. So, that is where we are about her. I have to tell you that she said it all. And I'm going to get that full information on Monday. By the time cabinet ends, I'll have that full information. We'll see how I can access what was said on the phone, so it could let me know. But she sold out for free all the information out of fear. So that project is literally dead. Umeme might totally be out of business, and all we have to lean on is Raya. Where there is one stumbling block, I've always talked to chairman and to tell the implementing committee that what you do is not to fight him. Because after my research has concluded that Tuama directly liaises with Tamarimi. We tried to get Tuama's call logs, history, but there is totally no contact with Tamarimi. But normally Tamarimi talks about him, meaning they have met. Now, I don't know where the missing link is, but we needed to find out more. Because we realized the Tuama's war are being fought by Tamarimi. And it also seems whatever we sit down and meet and talk, there is a possibility that Tamarimi shares that same information with Tuama. But I'm trying to find out whether it is on the phone or Tamarimi has a driver. I don't think we got call logs of the driver as well. But also the Tuama's logs, they don't appear because we do expect that maybe the Tuama talks to Tamare through the driver. It is not. So I'm still trying to look at how it happens. But we have to concentrate on making sure that Tuama becomes approachable and easier to deal with. Because the only option left is to deal with him, according to His Excellency. No one can eject him from that place and from managing that project. To plan it and also implement it, no one can. No one. Now the unfortunate thing I wanted to put in the light is that His Excellency requested the PPDA to come up with all the information regarding the people who have held the contracts for the last 5 years with REA and the URSB to provide all the needful information. So I was talking to the registrar to see which names to leave out and which ones to include to the report that goes to His Excellency. But now the whole confusion is there are several people using different approaches to request for information similar to that. Now, the registrar may not be able to identify which information is to be taken to the president apart from that one directly requested. Because PPDA is asking, IGG is asking, CIID is asking, SFC is asking, Anti-Corruption Unit is also asking for similar information. And there is a lady called Naomi is also asking for the same information from the registry. And they are asking for several companies, especially of Chinese and Indians. So that is what is going on there. So we have to be very careful. So in my resolution on that, I would think we can only try and set up efforts to see that we work with REA and make up there without rubbing shoulders. Because if we can do that, then we shall be good to go. Short of that, we are bound to fail. So if we can do that, the better we shall face off with the situation. That man Rutuama has been overpraised by His Excellency. Even Mary told me the same on the phone, that the president directed him to either quit the job or let Rutuama do as he plans. So that alone just swayed her off her feet, and she lost confidence totally. So let's leave her alone for that and we plan other ways. So Honorable, I'm going to meet you with the Afande and we sit down and we see how to deal with Rutuama in an amicable way, in a way knowing that one, he has a channel that directly contacts His Excellency to report any external pressures and internal pressures that may arise regarding the same project. Because His Excellency still reaffirmed it to Merigoreti that his microscope is directly there because he has to fulfill the pledges he made to his peasants, to his voters. So no one should mess with it. So we should put that on clear notice so that we don't mess up anything. Let me now talk to the Project Andrew Mwenda. That young man has his own challenges, frustrations and disappointments. The last time we met one-on-one, he just said hello and he bypassed me. I requested for just 10 minutes with him.